I was born in 1878 in a town called Greensville, South Carolina. I went to Furman University in 1894, where I got my master's in psychology. I then went to the University of Chicago, where I got my PhD. In 1908, I then began to teach at Johns Hopkins University. I am what they call the father of behavioralism. Most of my work was based off of Pavlov's and his experiments dealing with dogs and drool. In fact, my life is an example of classic conditioning. My father left me and my mother when I was 13 years old, and regrettably, I followed down a very similar path with my family. I will now take it over to my dear friend Richard, who will give us the definition of classic conditioning.
According to our textbook, classical conditioning is a type of learning in which an organism responds in a particular way to a neutral stimulus that normally does not bring about that type of response. John Watson strongly believed that we can gain a full understanding of development by carefully studying the stimulus that the environment is comprised of. He also argues that by effectively controlling a person's environment, it was possible to produce virtually any type of behavior. Do you think this sounds correct? The Little Albert Experiment. In the famous Little Albert Experiment, John Watson and an assistant conditioned a small child to fear a white rat. They accomplished this by repeatedly pairing the rat with a loud, frightening, clanging noise. They were able to demonstrate that this fear could be generalized to other white furry objects. The ethics of this experiment are often criticized today, but because the child's fear was never deconditioned. In 2009, the researchers discovered that the child using the experiment may have suffered from some neurological impairment at the time it was conducted. In addition, Watson may have knowingly misrepresented the boy as healthy and normal, therefore annulling the credibility of the experiments.
Hello class, we're going to do a little experiment. Every time that you hear this sound, I want you to snap. Alright, let's try it.
So, pop quiz. Blank occurs when an organism learns to respond to a neutral stimulus that normally does not evoke that type of response. A, behavioral perspective, B, classical conditioning, C, operant conditioning, or D, information processing. Psych, nope, it's classical conditioning, you're wrong.
Josh, wake up!
Is accepted by the behavioral theory, may I ask? One of the main things is stimuli from the environment. The keys to understanding development is behavior that's observed as well as outside stimuli from the environment. Understanding the stimuli can help you to predict the behavior. Because of this, nurture is more important in development than nature is. Developmental patterns come from a set of environmental stimuli. Constantly being exposed to the specific factors in the environment causes the behavior. For example, if you're always around stinging bees when you're younger, you're gonna be scared of them when you're older. Here's my question to you. What is one of the keys to understanding development according to the behavior theory? A, observable behavior, B, genetics, C, the stage a child is in, or D, assimilation?
All of the above!
If you said A, you are right. Observable behavior.
Golly gee, you guys didn't think Watson had any critics to his theory of behaviorism? Well, you're quite wrong. There are many theorists, some like Freud and Carl Rogers, that found many flaws in Watson's theory of behaviorism. Just like anything else, there's always flaws in something that anyone else can find. The first flaw that they found was that their behaviorism was a one-dimensional approach to understanding human behavior. It didn't take into play free will and other influences. The second flaw, one of the bigger flaws, is it doesn't account for other types of learning. It doesn't account for learning without the use of reinforcement. Another big one here. Third, the last one I'm going to talk about, is that people and animals are able to adapt to new information. And this goes against Watson's theory of behaviorism. Woo! It's getting quite windy out there. People are able to adapt to new information, whether or not they've been established to a punishment pattern. So as you can tell, there have been many critics to Watson's behaviorism theory. Are they right or are they wrong? That is up for you to decide. A flaw is a flaw in one person's mind, but not another. Thank you for listening to The Rejection.
Behaviorists believe that people have no free will and that a person's environment determines their behavior. They also believe that all behavior is learned from the environment. We learn new behavior through classical or operant conditioning. Rage can be a reaction of classical conditioning that is done unintentionally. If a kid sees their parents fighting or that their parents react with a lot of aggression in their household, then they learn to become aggressive and react with rage to situations. Some children learn to react to situations with love and affection instead of rage. And that can be because of what their home was like growing up. And if their mother was loving and nurturing, then that person could intentionally or unintentionally grow up and react similar to the way that their mother did when they were younger.
Hi there. I'd like to talk to you about a few more examples of classic conditioning as it pertains to childhood development. When we're growing up, our parents often use classic conditioning in a way of teaching us reward and punishment. When we do certain actions, say breaking a vase, our parents will normally punish us. After a certain amount of times of breaking things or doing bad habits, we learn that this will only result in punishment. On the other end of the spectrum, when we accomplish things our parents defined good habits, we are rewarded. We're given treats, we're given snacks, we're given approval and applause. Now we're going to show you a few more examples of classic conditioning.
Fear is a common emotion that is learned through classical conditioning. For example, if you are bitten by a dog when you're a child, you will grow up to learn to fear all dogs through that experience.
This is Janelle at age 5.
I'm 5.5.
I'm a dog.
Oh my god! That girl got bit by a dog!
Oh, hey, Janelle.
Oh, hey!
I didn't expect to see you
I
here.
know, it's so weird.
Hey, I have a favor to ask of you this weekend.
Okay.
Could you dog sit my dog for me while I go to the beach?
Alright, listen. When I was little, there was this little dog running around the neighborhood, and he bit me in my arm. So, like, ever since then, I've been terrified to be around any
Oh
dog.
my goodness.
What was that?
I don't know.
Are those guys running from bees?
I think they are.
So, in conclusion, classical conditioning is a method of learning in which a specimen reacts to a neutral stimuli in a way that one would not naturally react. Examples of classic conditioning can be seen through emotions such as rage, fear, and love. We understand development through observed behavior in the environment. Knowing the stimuli can help determine what the behavior will be. I'm the ghost of John B. Watson, and behavioralism is the best theory out there. Have a good day.